straight ahead on CCX News, a Plymouth company on the move. How city officials say Mosaic's relocation will impact the city. Plus, a vote for fire chief. And the number one question a Brooklyn Park Council member wanted answered. And see how a Lego contest led a group of local students to tackle a real-life challenge in Central America. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. A Fortune 500 Plymouth company is moving to the Sun Belt.
Mosaic is relocating its headquarters to Florida to be closer to other business interests. And Eric Nelson looked into this today and has more.
Yeah, Alex and Mike, Mosaic is trading snow and lakes for sun and surf. Their new home will be Hillsborough County, which is in the Tampa Bay area. Now, Mosaic is a global powerhouse in the fertilizer business, and the company wants to cut costs by moving closer to phosphate mines they own in Central Florida. Plymouth city officials were caught off guard by this announcement.
Yeah, a little bit shocked, and they obviously made a business decision, and the impact on the city of Plymouth we think will be insignificant because they're basically moving their headquarters, which means their executive team, and just the company address.
Mosaic is a Fortune 500 company and is Minnesota's 14th largest public company. Mosaic spun off from Cargill in 2011 and has been a major player on the Plymouth business scene since then. The company's annual sales are $7.4 billion. Losing a giant like Mosaic is a blow, but Plymouth officials believe the city will weather the storm and continue to thrive. City Manager Dave Callister does not expect significant job losses.
We're going to miss having them being the headquarters here and the executive team and the decisions and the byline that it's a Plymouth company. But I think they will maintain their presence, and if they do reduce that, we have a high office demand in the area, so we have no doubts that there will be other companies in this building or other buildings that will continue to call Plymouth home.
Now, Mosaic has approximately 8,500 employees at all of its locations, which include Brazil, Saskatchewan, Central Florida, and the Twin Cities. Mike?
All right, Eric, thank you. After years of legislative wrangling, Interstate 94 could finally get an upgrade to help reduce congestion north of Maple Grove. The Minnesota House approved a capital investment bill that includes more than $13 million for the Brockton interchange at I-94 in Dayton. This area is among the longest stretches of freeway without an exit in the Twin Cities. The project would also include adding merge lanes on I-94 east of the Highway 101 overpass. The bill still needs to pass the state Senate. The Minnesota Senate, meanwhile, has approved legislation aimed at giving doctors and patients more control when it comes to prescription medicines.
It is called the Step Therapy Bill, and it's supposed to prevent insurance companies from forcing some patients to go through a step therapy protocol, meaning that patients have to take less expensive drugs first, and when they're deemed ineffective, then they can take the more expensive medicine that their doctor originally prescribed. Such a bill would have helped 21-year-old Nicholas Boder-Zarkowski. He was diagnosed with arthritis at age 2. The former Champlain Park student has arthritis in every joint in his body and was bedridden for 3 years. But despite his chronic condition, Nicholas had to wait a year and a half before he was able to get the medicine his doctor first prescribed. And while this bill won't benefit him now, it will help future patients like him.
It was one of the hardest and worst times of my life. I had to figure out, how am I going to get better? How am I going to move? How am I going to do my daily life? On top of that, you have school, you have social activities, you have friends. I had to get rid of all of that.
The damage has already been done. We don't get that back. He doesn't get that range of motion back. He doesn't get that healthy body so he can go out and participate with his brothers.
The Senate passed the step therapy bill 56-0. It also passed the House and will soon head to the governor's desk.
Brooklyn Park officially has its new fire chief. The City Council unanimously approved the hire of Elk River Fire Chief John Cunningham.
I was lucky enough to be recruited just over 8 years ago by the City of Elk River. You have a wonderful fire department. You have a wonderful city. It's going to be an honor to serve in this capacity.
Cunningham starts June 18th, replacing Ken Prilliman, who agreed to a separation deal with the city last summer. Prilliman's departure included an acrimonious relationship with current councilmember Mark Maida. Prior to the vote approving the new chief, Maida wanted one question addressed.
I just have one question I was going to make sure I asked on camera, because I asked your predecessor on camera and wasn't sure of the answer. When you were at Elk River, do you know what your surrounding cities ran for medicals?
Mayor and Councilmember Maida, I do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Someone who knows their surrounding cities around them knows exactly how to deal with the city they're in and how they operate. So thank you very much and welcome aboard.
Cunningham has more than 20 years firefighting experience, both in Elk River and for a volunteer department in Connecticut, the state where he first lived. He has been Elk River chief since 2009. Here's a question. How do Legos lead students to a mission trip in Central America?
An instructor gave some Plymouth Middle School students a challenge in Lego League earlier this year. Reporter Shannon Slatton explains how students use the opportunity to tackle a real-life problem in Honduras.
And we're going to be bringing this down to Honduras.
Martin Michelli is among a group of 8th grade boys who is taking a trip to Honduras this summer. They will be bringing water filtration systems like this one to a small rural school. Martin showed us the difference this simple yet effective water filtration system can make.
This is just some tap water and then some dirt from the front of our school, probably.
He's so confident in this system that he even drank the finished product.
It's good.
Martin and his friends came up with this idea after receiving a water-themed challenge in Lego League. They decided to tackle a real-life water challenge.
So we came up with the idea when Fernando Pineda, a teacher's assistant at Robbinsville Spanish Immersion School, came to us and told us about his hometown, how there's a river and there's a small school that 72 children have to get their water from this river that's more than like 10 minutes away, and they have to take time away from learning just to get a necessity.
The kids weren't getting like clean and healthy water, so we decided to like change that.
I feel proud about the kids. This is a very important thing because many of the kids does not have the opportunity to drink clean water, and this is going to be something that's going to change definitely their lives.
Students raise money for 6 water filtration kits that can last up to 10 years. They will join adults from Cornerstone Church in Crystal to help build a gutter and rain barrel system that will help the rural school get water without students having to walk to the river. It's shaping up to be an inspirational summer vacation.
It can really impact the lives of others in a positive way.
In Plymouth, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
Members of Cornerstone Church have been serving this area of Honduras for 15 years. And besides the water filtration system, students plan to play plenty of soccer with students as part of the outreach. Still ahead, perspective on early childhood education in the Osseo School District.
Plus, it's not just for girls anymore. Later in sports, see how boys volleyball is catching on at a few local high schools.
But first, a warm Wednesday. Temperatures reach the 80s. We'll be right back.
In today's School Spotlight, we visit Arborview Childhood Center in Maple Grove.
As Sonia Goen shows us, it is a school that gives children the foundation they need to grow while giving moms and dads the tools they need to help them parent.
Early one morning, the bright sun came out. And there was a spider.
Story time and singing songs.
Now the spiders are
These are just some of the activities young learners participate in while attending classes at Arborview Early Childhood Center.
The spider didn't answer.
Early Childhood Family Education, or ECFE, allows parents to come to school with their children.
Wow, look at our web.
During the first part of the class,
It is getting bigger.
parents and children do an exercise together.
It just keeps me more focused as a mom. It gets me out, talking to other adults.
Mona Parmar attends classes with her 4-year-old daughter, Kahana.
It keeps me sane, definitely.
She says the classes boost her parenting confidence.
Sometimes I'm at home and I think, this can't be normal. And then I go to the parent class, I listen to the other parents, I ask my parent educator what to do, and they just tell me this is normal. And they give me the tools and resources to really go home and constructively handle the situation.
Infants and their parents can also join in on the learning and fun. These babies are doing what's known as free play.
They just play side by side and get comfortable with their space being invaded.
Although the children are playing, their fine and gross motor skills are being shaped.
Even play from birth, they are problem solving, and oftentimes I encourage parents to sit back and just observe how their child's wheels are turning.
Once the parent-child activities are done, parents separate and go into another room where they have a parent education discussion. Topics vary from lack of sleep, fussy eaters, to tantrums.
You realize just how little you're doing wrong, which is kind of nice. ECFE gets kind of a rap for thinking that it's telling you how to parent when it's more of a we're all going through the same thing together kind of environment.
Arborview also offers an early childhood special education program. Any child in the district can get services.
So there would be occupational therapy that would be available, overall developmental support, speech and language.
More than 500 students in the Osseo School District benefit from early childhood special education. Learning also takes place outside of the classroom.
The early childhood special ed staff actually do provide support in the family's home. And then once a child turns 3, if services are going to continue, they would transition to a location like this.
Eyes are
Giving all the children in the district the tools they need to succeed, no matter their abilities or income,
all right, friends.
is the goal of Arborview Childhood Center.
Playtime is all done.
In Maple Grove, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Still ahead, Plymouth Police finished top dogs in a K-9 unit challenge.
But first, close contest between Maple Grove and Armstrong in girls and boys lacrosse. John Jacobson with the highlights next.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The Maple Grove girls lacrosse team is a contender in the Northwest Suburban Conference this spring. The Crimson have reached the past 2 state tournaments, and Monday, in the rain, they met an Armstrong team that's lost some close games this spring. Doesn't take long for the Crimson to get on the board. Emily Herdine passes to Katie Wheeler. She scores her 16th goal of the season. Maple Grove's up 1-0 just 55 seconds into the game. Chloe Corbin, that's one of her 4 goals here, running through a double team to score as Maple Grove builds a 7-1 first half lead. From behind the Crimson net, Armstrong's Carly O'Donnell comes out front and scores. It's a 10-5 game at halftime. The Falcons get closer in the second half. Mayola Shamludsik scores here. She scores 4 times in the game. It's 10-7 Maple Grove. Watch this series of fakes here by the Crimson's Grace Hansen. The sophomore finally finishes with the left hand to score to make it 13-7 Maple Grove. Nice pass, Lauren Price right on the money to Olivia Heck, who scores. Heck now with 26 goals on the year. But Maple Grove wins this high-scoring game. Emily Herdine scored 6 times. She has 48 goals now in the season. Maple Grove wins 16-13. They are now 8-1 on the year. In boys lacrosse, those same schools met. Both Armstrong and Maple Grove are in the middle of a pack in the conference standings. Highlights from this one at Maple Grove as the home team gets up early. Travis Zibley to Drew Heisler. He scores, and it's 4-1 Crimson. Armstrong rallies. Nathan Shapiro fights off the defender and scores, cutting the lead to 4-3. Second quarter, Matt Campion leads the Armstrong rush, and he scores as the Falcons go up 6-5. Maple Grove comes back. Parker Slotsby scores, putting the Crimson on top 7-6. The Falcons play well in the second half. Carter Goku slips the defender and scores to make it 9-all. Armstrong goes up 10-9 until Maple Grove's Carter Morissette scores that evens the score again. The Falcons close strong. Hayden Marsh beats the defender and scores for an 11-10 lead. And then Campion will slip out front and score the clinchers. Armstrong wins it over Maple Grove 12-10. A lot of talented girls volleyball players have come out of Minnesota through the years. Boys volleyball is getting a try this spring at some local schools. It's the subject of this week's Sports Jam Spotlight story on CCX. Here's part of what you'll see.
The sport is just at the club level at a few local schools. The Osseo North Metro team is actually a co-op featuring players from 8 high schools, including Osseo, Park Center, Brooklyn Center, and Wayzata, and featuring players of different skill levels.
It's been a challenge, but it's also been really fantastic. The most amazing part, though, is watching the other teams improve. Every week, all the other teams are just getting better and better. It's just an amazing event, and watching the boys really enjoy it, and seeing the athletes that are participating is just absolutely fantastic for the sport.
Joe Yang is a senior at Park Center and had only played volleyball with family and friends prior to the spring. Experience here has helped develop his skills.
What I've improved is that my timing when I go and hit the ball to get over the ball, and the way that I pass the ball to my setter.
You can see the rest of that story and much more this week on Sports Jam. It airs through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on CCX channels 799 and 12, and anytime online at ccxmedia.org. The state adapted softball tournament takes place June 1st and 2nd. Two local teams met up in a PI division game Monday. Senior day for the Robbinsdale Hopkins Mound West Tonkin Robins as they hosted Anoka Hennepin. It's tied at 1 in the second inning when Garmin Neal smacks a hit to left for Anoka Hennepin. Eli Guthrie comes in to score, and the Mustangs are up 2-1. The Robins respond in the bottom of the second. Calvin Gertz hit to left brings Jordan O'Donnell around to score. It's an even game, 2-2 through 2 innings. The Mustangs go back in front. Cole Anderzak drives in Tyler Aziel here. Anoka Hennepin gets 2 runs in the third. They lead it 4-2. But it's mostly Robins from there. O'Donnell's base hit scores Ethan Sullivan and Sam Rolls. They get 3 runs in the third and take the lead for good. And the Robins score 4 runs in the fourth and then finish it off in the fifth. Isaiah Joyner's hit to right scores 2. The Robins win 14-4 in 5 innings. And that's a look at sports. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Well, finally, a police canine unit can serve as a great icebreaker when the public sees the dogs and officers out at city events and festivals.
Good PR tool, but make no mistake, those dogs have an important job to do.
Our canines are tasked with both apprehension and narcotics location. So we have a dual purpose dog, and we currently have 3 dogs right now. Stay.
That's Officer Bill Dane and Odie, one of 3 canines in the Plymouth Police Department. The city's canine unit recently earned top honors during the annual statewide narcotics detection certification process. Dane and Odie, along with Officer Matt Gliniani and his dog Striker, won the first place team award.
It's our 2nd year in a row getting that, so that's it's very rewarding. It's nice to come back and show our department that and show that all our hard work does pay off, and all the canines there are fantastic dogs, so that says a lot too. Our competition is strong.
The city's 3rd team, Officer Steve Larson and his canine partner Knight, also took top honors. Plymouth has had a canine unit for nearly 25 years, so well done. Well done.
Yeah, way to go, Greg.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
And we'll see you back here again tomorrow, starting at 4.